नमस्ते आदित्य जी।
Namaste, Jai Shri ji. Welcome. Amrita, welcome. Good to see you. Very nice.
गुड
So, if you can put your cameras on so that I can see you, that would be nice. Just to, see each other's faces is nice. Great. Many friends are joining. Richa has joined. Welcome, welcome, Richa. And we'll start now. Let other friends join and we will settle down. So, as we go, friends, our session has the order of first we share the message from the mountain. Then the second is we go into the Sutra, Vigyan Bhairava Tantra Sutra. This is given by Shiva to Lord, to the mother, Lord Shiva to the mother. And then we go into meditation practice. That is our main goal, to sit in meditation together. And then we have sharing in the end. Okay, so friends, last session we had shared the three sutras together. We did a recap. Amrita has taken the session uh, beautifully. She explained all the three sutras. Now we are going into the fourth sutra today. So before that, I will go into the message from the mountain. So in my meditation, I get many messages from the mountain that I love, Mount Kailash, and I feel I can now share these messages because it can help everyone. And I'm sure many of us are also getting messages. So it would be nice for anybody who has got messages to, share it on this platform so that it can help everyone. So today's message from the mountain is there is no question, there is no answer. Actually, I have always been looking for answers, Oh, I need this answer. I need that answer. So I have a lot of questions and, then I get a lot of answers and I don't get answers. One question gives rise to 10 questions. So always, my mind is running after question and answer, question and answer. So the mountain message is there is no question, there is no answer. What it means is when you are actually looking for a question, I'm sure we have all had these moments in our life. We look for that answer, and suddenly, uh, down the lane, you are going somewhere, or um, you stumble upon a master, or you get into a deep meditation. Suddenly the question is lost. The question has no more importance. You feel, no, I don't need that answer anymore, right? So the question is lost and the answer is lost, and that is what the mountain is saying is the real answer. So friends, not all question has the answers in, how we speak in this language. There is answer coming in other languages. If we listen, then we get the answer. So that's why the importance of meditation, friends. If we meditate regularly, we are in this. It's like a place where we can center ourselves. Every day we are centering ourselves. And if you read this book, Vigyan Bhairava Tantra, the book of secret, explained by great master Osho, he says that he explains this book so beautifully, and he says, one liner which was so beautiful. He said, the entire body, we feel it's me, it's me, it's me, my nose, it's me, my mind, it's me. But the breath, it's not us. This breath is from the universal intelligence. Are we running the breath, friends? We are not. So when we join with the breath, when we come back to the breath, we get access to the universal intelligence, the divine intelligence, where the true answers are. So, daily life, I have to decide this or that. Oh, shall I do this or that? Shall I wear this t-shirt or that? Every time, we have these questions coming in our mind. So, a person who has transcended, these things is no more, like panicky about situations in life. So I have given you small example, but there are big things also that comes in life, big decisions, small and big. We feel they are so big. Oh my God, how will I handle big decisions? I have to move from this job to that job, or I have to leave this relationship or be in the big decision, big. So it's not big or small. It is just like that, as simple as wearing this t-shirt or that how do I get that answer? How do I know? So meditation brings us to that center, friends. So Mount Kailash for me always reminds about connecting to my center. It's a big symbol of um, a symbolism that reminds me to meditate, to connect to my authentic self, to be grounded in my authentic self. We should all create one affirmation for ourselves that we should do every day in the morning. It's nice. Your own personal affirmation, right? So for my personal affirmation can be like, I am grounded in my authentic self, and I'm connected to the universal intelligence guiding me now. It can be like an affirmation. It's so wonderful, friends. Your personal affirmation, something wherever you are in your life, whatever stage you are, whatever personal affirmation you need, you can create that, right? So these are the tools that helps us to remind us about, where we need to return. Every day we need to return to our center, right? So the message from the mountain is, there is no question, there is no answer. The actual answers that we are looking for comes when the question and the answer dissolves. It does not comes to us in words. It has a different language. And this language we learn, only we can learn this language when we are meditators, when we are meditating regularly. So friends, Vigyan Bhairava Tantra is one of the very beautiful book that is close to my heart. And I always wanted to do all the sutras in that. There are 112 meditations there. And it says, for every personality type, there is one meditation. So if you practice this, like play with the practice. First, I think nine, we are doing first nine is just on breath. It's an extension of, we can say, the Anapanasati meditation, which is taught by Buddha, right? So it's the extension of that, right? Maybe, when I'm doing these practices, I get more interest to do meditation, because, it's nice for the mind to sometimes, oh, just watching the breath, so boring. So now Shiva is saying, look at the pause in the breath. That is interesting for me. Look at the turning of the breath. Interesting. Yeah. Madhulika also have joined. Thank you for joining. All many friends are there today who all went for the Kailash Yatra, right? So beautiful to be in the same space again, to meditate all together, connecting to the this beautiful vibration of Mount Kailash, and we can all connect wherever we are sitting. Kailash is always, I feel, it's an inside state. Kailash is it's a state of our mind, state of our consciousness, right? So, friends, this Vigyan Bhairava Tantra, 112 techniques. So, breath technique is there, sound technique is there. There are techniques that can be related to sexuality. You can think of any technique There cannot be any other technique apart from this 112 techniques which Lord Shiva has given to Parvati. Mother Parvati, she is asking Lord Shiva how to come out of this suffering. And Shiva, he is very clever. He knows if I give answer, these people will again cook something out of it and make their own answers. He will not talk. You cannot make him give discourses. He says, okay, I give you this technique. You practice this technique, you will experience. So anything you take to Shiva, you ask a question, he'll give a technique. Practice the technique, you'll get the answer. That's what he'll say. So, right, friends. So, breath techniques. So, experiment with this. I personally, I wanted to experiment with all these techniques. Here we started with the breath techniques, the 9 breath techniques that we intend to cover, and we'll see if we get more time. Maybe we'll do all the 112 techniques. We'll see how the group goes. So, friends, today's technique very interesting again. The fourth technique, right? It says when the breath is all out, like, or it has gone like down, and it has stopped itself, as such as the universe has stopped. One small self vanishes. So in that moment, if you pause the breath, in that moment, the breath will, when we stop, the ego stop. Then Aditya is not there. Richa is not there. Amrita is not there that moment. Madhulika is not there. Jayashri is not there in that moment, right? So today we will practice this technique. Richa has a question. And why does it has Bhairav in the name of the title of these work in the work? Uh, Okay, before that, there is a question, two question. I am behind. Wanted to check if we have Vigyan Bhairava Tantra from someone else or only from Osho. We have many, variation of Vigyan Bhairava Tantra. It is actually, these scriptures, they are written in Sanskrit. Somebody has to decode it because we are not Sanskrit scholars. So many masters like Osho, even I think Sri Ravi Shankar, many discourses are there. Many people have decoded, this, so to speak. Osho is one of them. I liked his version because that's the book that I have, got in hand personally. You can read any other book. It is the same, uh, you can say the techniques are the same written. How you have to practice is written exactly as it is. So, and why does it has Bhairav? Bhairav, I think, is Shiva's name, right? And that is a good question. Why actually Bhairav? I have not thought about it like that. Maybe we have to research, right? So, coming back to the technique, friends, what we were saying is we are going to practice the fourth technique. The fourth technique is saying, I'll read it as it is: when breath is all out, which is up, and stopped of itself, or all down and stopped. In such universal pause, one small self vanishes. This is difficult only for the impure. Then it says, people who are impure, it is difficult. Impure means does not like dirty or anything. Impure means people who have still lot of desire, they are running after things, then their mind is always vanishing. So this techniques can be difficult for those people. But people who are, a little calmer, they have settled. This is easy. Okay. So friends, this technique is all techniques that you think of nowadays, like any technique that we know in order to relax the mind comes from Vigyan Bhairavat 112. Without this 112, you cannot draw 113th technique. Nobody has drawn 113th or 114th technique, right? So, for example, in Japan, we know Zen. We have known Zen. Zen is based on this technique, stop technique. What it means is Zen, you will see, we say Zen master. Why is a Zen master? Because, suddenly he is laughing, smiling, you know, and, the students, they are praising the master. Suddenly he will stand up and start beating. Suddenly, shock like. And sometimes the student gets angry and he is giving bad words to the master. Oh, he'll dance, he'll laugh, he'll sing. Unexpected. You can't predict a Zen master. He does things which is unexpected. Like Shiva, he came with his barat, you know, like a zombie, drunk with ashes. Nobody has ever seen a dulha like him. And all his baratis, they are weird people. Somebody, there is no eye, somebody has one eye, somebody has one leg, all aliens. So that is a moment of shock for people. Like, how can somebody come to a marriage like that, to marry like that? So creating a shock, it stops the mind. And through this method, through this Zen masters have enlightened so many people just through this method, because something made them stop the mind. And when the mind suddenly has stopped, it has got what it is supposed to get. It has understood that, right? So it's a very beautiful technique that we will be practice. So we will be taking the breath. Naturally, we'll pause a little, and then pause a little. You don't have to pause like make yourself blue. You don't have to do that. Gentle pause. Okay. So breathe in, pause, breathe out, pause, and just notice what happens in that pause. That's all we will be doing throughout this session. Don't exert yourself. If you can't do the pause for a long time, for maybe for few breaths, we have to do it intentionally. Then you will see it will become automatic. You're breathing in, you're pausing, breathing out, you're pausing. In and out will be pausing. So just be aware of the pause, relax in the pause. That's all we are going to do in today's session. Okay, friends. So without any further talking, let us get into the meditation practice. That is our main agenda today. And I'd like you all to sit very, very relaxed. And if somebody can give me a thumbs up, if you're able to hear the music. Yeah, if anybody can give me a thumbs up. Great. Thank you, Richa. Okay, great, friends. So let's take a posture which is very, very comfortable. So we generally sit with crossed hand, crossed legs, and you can take a backrest, sit on a chair, sit on the floor, wherever you're comfortable. If you can't sit on the floor, take a chair, cross your legs, cross your hands. And unlike me, you have to open your spectacles, because if I open my spectacle, I won't be able to see the screen. So open your spectacles, close your eyes softly, and observe the breath. Yeah. As you inhale, take a pause, notice, exhale, take a pause, notice. So just gently, you're being aware of this divine pause. So you're inhaling and you take a pause and exhaling, you're taking a pause. Be aware of this pause. Let your mind rest in this pause. So you're observing this natural flow with the pause. There is no control. We are not trying to change the rhythm or systemize it. Simply watch the flow as it move in and out. And especially you are seeing the pause, you are noticing the up and down movements of the breath when it is pausing. Become a watcher. We shift our identity from a doer to a witness. We call it Shakshi Bhav. As if you are the sky and the breath is just the weather moving through you. And in that, be aware of this inward pause and the outward pause. Sometimes this gap can be a microcosmic or a microscopic part. It's very, very minute. So really, you need to pay close attention to this microsecond when the breath is pausing. you will realize in this tiny interval, there is no movement, there is no thought, because the mind needs momentum to create thoughts. The mind cannot function in stillness. Also be aware as you inhale, in that little pause, there is life. And as you exhale, the second pause, for a single moment, you're not breathing. In the language of Tantra, this is a momentary pause of death. So, in your breath, as you inhale, the tiny pause reminds us of life. And as you exhale, the tiny pause reminds you of death. Keep observing the pause. If you're not able to do it properly, that's all right. Do as much as possible in a relaxed way, in a playful way. So, in this universal pause, Shiva says your small self vanishes. Your name, your prestige, your past identities evaporate because they are only daily utilities that cannot exist in that silent space. So we do not try to hold the breath forcefully or pause it longer, as it can create tension and it can move you back into your doing mind. Simply remain alert during that pause. And if you can be aware in that moment of no breath, you touch your vast, silent being. This is the part of you that is unborn and deathless. By witnessing these gaps, you realize you are neither the body that breathes nor the mind that thinks. You are above your mind, you are above your body, you are pure consciousness in which the breath rises and falls. For the next few minutes, I'll give you some silence here and we'll practice this. another 7 minutes. Three minutes more. One more minute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Whenever you're ready, friends, you can rub your hands, make them warm, and lightly put it on your eyes. And gently allow your eyes to open whenever you are ready. Take your time. I'm also unmuting everyone. I mean, anybody, if they feel to share anything, you can share. Um, and friends, this meditation we can also practice in our daily life, like when the normal daily life is going on, we can just pause the breath and rest first, like how we are doing. So it's like a pause practice during our daily activities. And generally, if it's the mind is too clouded, sometimes we can't do it. That means, the mind is impure. That does not mean something wrong. It is just that we are clinging to the future, we are clinging to the past, we have a lot of hope in our life, which is okay, but they are there. They are not sorted yet. So sometimes it takes a little practice. So generally, the master says if you practice something, practice it at least for 3 days. If it clicks, it will give you a sense, you'll feel a sense of well-being. And if this a particular technique is giving you a sense of well-being, you can continue this for 3 months, right? So at the right moment of intensity, if you practice start doing this, you will get you know the fruit of this, right? So you need this practice. It says even 3 minutes of this awareness can result in a cosmic transformation. This is so powerful. Even 3 minutes, if you can stay there, it's great. Yeah, so any sharing, friends? Anybody wants to share?
I have, I have a question.
Yeah,
Uh,
Richa. Mhm.
like the pause is not even a millisecond, right? It's like, I mean, I don't know, when you say pause, I can feel it sometime, but it returns back to that normal anapanasati cyclic rhythmic uh, flow of breath.
Yes, that's absolutely fine. Anapanasati is, I think, it is said it is derived from the first sutra. So probably, Richa, go through the first, second, and third, fourth sutra. You'll find it in the book there. You can easily find it anywhere. I can share the book again. Just read the first four sutras. So you will understand. The first is about the very fraction second of the breath which you are mentioning right now, that is one technique, which is the number one. This technique is a little different because we are consciously taking a gap here. It's not that microsecond, but you are actually taking a gap there
Okay.
intentionally. Yeah.
I think, as you said, it may take practice, but when I started doing it, I think I realized that I started breathing it from the stomach, and the overall breath also slowed down very calmingly and very gradually, like automatically. Didn't have to make an effort. But I think because I did Anapanasati so long, I mean, I've been doing it Anapanasati for so long, so I think it gradually transitioned into that state automatically for me.
Exactly. And Anapanasati is just the first sutra. It says that when Buddha, of course, as I said, there's no other sutra than these 112 sutras. So Buddha followed the first one and given to people because the most simple one is the first sutra. And he did not mention about the gap because he didn't want people to confuse about it, right? So he just
Mm.
said, be with the breath. But this is so sometimes it is called the half sutra, but it is actually not half, because if you are following the breath, if you're practicing that, you'll understand the pause. You'll eventually understand that calmness. Eventually
So,
your breath will stop.
yeah, so like, yeah, in Anapanasati also, the pause after the inhalation is felt more strongly than after the exhalation, and I have experienced that pause after inhalation, but the pause after exhalation is something maybe I'll have to practice more to get there.
Yeah, after exhalation, it's actually, that's the death point. Inhalation is the life point. So you're breathing in prana, like you're breathing in life, and breathing out, the breath goes away. It's like a death moment. So sometimes uh, it could be, it's because it's death, it could be that one. But yes, of course, when you practice, in and out properly.
Yeah, it's difficult to express what you feel in that pause moment, but I'll try. So the pause that I've experienced to the depth of the meditation that I've been doing,
Oh,
the pause and then after the inhalation that I've experienced is something where you absolutely lose touch of everything. You don't even feel yourself. You don't feel anything, and for that second, it doesn't last long, very long for me yet. But maybe for like 1 or 2 second, 2 second is also, I think, an exaggeration. But maybe for that 1 second is very um, like you completely lose touch of everything.
yeah,
एकदम शून्य में चले जाना is what I feel.
exactly.
But I don't feel the same in the pause after exhalation. So maybe we'll
Yeah, so
observe
just,
more.
yeah, probably play around with it for 3 days as told by the masters. And if it's your technique, you will get it. If not, you do what suits you the best. That's what is the flexibility of this Vigyan Bhairava Tantra, whatever suits you, right? Okay, thank you so much, Richa, for this
Thank
questions.
you.
Thank you for joining. Thank you, Jayashri ji. And um, I will share the recording in the group. We'll have more sharing. And let's practice this at least for 3 days. And this week, we'll be sharing things in the group, whatever. If anybody has sharing, if anybody has messages from the mountain,
Aditya ji,
yeah.
I have a question.
Hanji
When
Jayashri
I
ji.
was,
Yes.
yeah, when I was in the meditation, actually, I have not yet come up fully. I had a tickling in my Sahasrara, and I felt it was very heavy, and I was like it was pressuring me so much. A tickling in the Sahasrara, and it was pressuring me so much that my head actually fell down. Like I, I
Um,
felt, I felt that, and then again I came to the normal position in the meditation itself. And now I feel it's very heavy in my head.
Very heavy in the head, huh? Yeah. Actually, it happens, it's very common for all meditators to have these feeling when, uh, the entire energy goes up, because this is a process of energy moving up. And there's a lot of energy that goes down in the head. Sometimes we do feel heavy or light in the head. Uh, all you have to do is do some grounding, Jashriji, after the meditation. If it becomes very, very heavy, uh, I mean, as much as we can do to be in the state, it's okay, but don't pressure yourself. Don't say, oh, I have to do this meditation. It may not be good all the time. If it's very painful, yeah, after you come back from meditation, go and take a walk in the nature, barefoot. You can walk, or lie down on the floor, just to release that extra energy from the head. Sometimes we also say that it's a very nice thing that I learned: when you have extra energy, you give it to a plant, which is like dying, or give it to an animal who has some pains. So you have that extra energy in you because it's too much for you, so you can give it to the nature, to a plant or a animal whom you care for. So that's how you release that. It's nothing but extra energy, but eventually, also you will learn how to circulate the energy. That's also, I think, a learning in our meditation practice. We will learn how to circulate that energy. The more we circulate, this thing will go away.
Okay,
Yeah. I hope that answers your questions, Yashriji.
I'll practice that, Aditya.
Sure,
Sure.
sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, let's practice this for 3 days and let's share our sharing in the group. Namaste, friends.